Sorry, I'm late, guys. Had
Rideshare
some
driver that drives for Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us. I want to welcome, go around the panel and then introduce our guests last. First, we got Gary. That's how I got it right that time. We got from Middleton Tech. We got Hannibal is Hungry. We got Kim's Side Money Plan. And we got Van Doordash Delivery here with us today.
The Decline King in the house.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to discuss a few topics here that, you know, there's some just weird topics that are going on right now, and one of them relates directly to Van. So I guess, well, before we go there, I actually want to try and get something sorted out from my own head. Van, how many social media channels do you have, or what are the correct names? Because I've got Driving Addict, Delivery Addict,
delivery addict. Not mine.
Okay.
Driving
Okay.
addict. Yeah.
Somebody else had said last night, well, that's his too. And I was like, well, wait a minute. What's going on? So,
Okay. On YouTube, I'm DoorDash Delivery. On
Mhm.
Facebook, same DoorDash Delivery. On Instagram, it's DoorDash Delivery 2.
Yep.
On TikTok, it's DoorDash Delivery 1.
Okay. So,
And on Snapchat, is Driving Addict. Yes.
oh, okay. That's Snapchat. Okay. So, okay. Got this. So it is just that one on all of them. Okay, good. So can we move right into what happened on Tuesday?
Being deactivated by DoorDash.
Yeah, because before I even saw that in your live stream and I jumped in, it was odd because I was putting some articles together and I was actually reading about this happening to other people. Like, and I, you know, it's always happening, obviously, but there was some other stories about, you know, with having oversaturation in the states where they're doing the just some weird stuff that I was like, well, wait a minute, are they really just starting to thin the herd a bit or something? But then I know this is a totally different story that you have, but it's, can you walk us through it? Is it?
Absolutely. All right. So about 2 weeks ago, I have some scam calls from some Indian scammers that pretend to be from DoorDash, I believe. They try to hack into my Dasher account. I think that's what they were trying to do. And then like 1 day later, they try to hack into my DoorDash customer account. They're calling to pretend to be from DoorDash, and I believe they're Indian scammers from India. I didn't give out my personal info. I didn't give out my email or my DoorDash name or my phone number or anything. And they also try to reactivate my old Dasher account on a different phone number and a different email. But why would you try to reactivate your account when you're already active on DoorDash, you know, as a DoorDash driver?
So is that what they deactivated you for? Was for fraud or multiple accounts?
Something like that. I don't know how to share screen, but I'll just show you the email. How about that?
Interesting.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out, what this actually was. I was confused.
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Is they tried to activate another one of his accounts, which according to DoorDash, it's fraud because you're trying to have two different accounts. And typically the email will come across something like, hey, you've abused the terms of service, blah blah blah, fraud. Please check out the
Oh, I
fraud
see.
section, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
something related to fraud, I
Yeah.
believe. But
Yeah.
well, let me pull up.
But if the one account was deactivated though, then
Well, I mean that's like you, Steve. If you go and try and activate another account,
start a Google number and then bring in my real number.
right,
then
and
okay.
I can't read that. Maybe we
Yeah.
could put him up by himself so we can read that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know how to share screen. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
Oh wait, I don't know how to make it just Van.
Yeah, because we're all in
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
how about I read? How about I
You
read?
read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how about
read it.
you read it to us? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go. Solo layout.
Oh, I
Hi,
just did it too.
hi, and then my Dasher name.
Mhm.
We regret to inform you that your Dasher account has been deactivated after completing our investigation. We found that the account share identifiable information to another account that was previously created on the platform in violation of the independent contractor agreement and the DoorDash deactivation policy. Please review the abusing the platform section with the deactivation policy for further details. You can appeal your deactivation by filing out the request here, blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, DoorDash operations team.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that
So
that
that's
went
what
that
it
went
sounds
through
like.
to your email associated with the deactivated account.
I think the hacker tried to reactivate the deactivated account. Correct. Yes.
But it also in turn deactivated your primary account.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Right, because they're considering that abusing the platform because you're trying to run multiple accounts is what DoorDash is
No, yeah,
thinking.
I'm following. I'm just
It amazes me how people get this information. Like all these scammers out there, like how do they get the information to begin with? It baffles my brain sometimes.
I actually,
go ahead.
sorry. Can I jump in first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually watch a lot of the scammer paybacks, scammer YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that channel.
yeah,
So
good channel.
some of these call support center, they same room with the scammer call center, literally in the same room. So sometimes they the legit call center would give information out to the scammers or whatever,
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they got the Dasher account information. That's my guess.
There's a really good video came from Mark Wober. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Very popular YouTuber. And he kind of breaks down the whole operation. It's multi-million-dollar. These call centers are making multi-million-dollar a year. Just taking as much information. They're targeting people usually 65 and older, people that's not technically savvy, and they're just wiping people's accounts and their bank accounts. And it seems like they always seem to know a good amount of information about the person they're targeting. So like I've received like insurance calls. They know what make and model my car is. So like it gives you some legitimacy of, okay, this person may be what they're saying because they're telling me something that something that they would know about me. So it's very sophisticated, and it's crazy. It happens in India. There's multiple, and the government can't they'll shut one call center down, but there's still many out there. They know it, and
Absolutely.
nothing stops. It's infuriating.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm, the whole model of everything right now is kind of shaken to me. In fact, I was talking to Joe Dark Road Run today about the sustainability of these businesses right now, and I'm not talking about in the long term, of course, but I mean just like what can be done literally. One thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the independent contractor model. Can it hold now is my new question. Used to be a fight for it. Now I'm kind of starting to be like, can it hold? It will for a while, but I mean, if Massachusetts or New Jersey, or Washington State or anything like that, if any of them give again, like California, we're going to be back in this whole place of none of this is going to matter anyway, because you won't be deactivated. You'll be fired because you'll have a W-2 job.
Right.
And I know we've talked about it forever, and some people just don't want to hear it. They're like, well, let's just figure out the money portion right now. We'll deal with that later, but that later isn't, you know, potentially that far off. I said it before with the PRO Act, you know, like I had a lot of ladies who know a lot about that stuff on the podcasts for weeks, and that thing was a lot closer than everybody knows. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like, you know, it's like scientists knowing about an asteroid that could destroy Earth, but it's just going to miss it barely, so they just don't tell us. But some people knew. You know, I feel like, you know, I feel like the people who did know about the PRO Act, for the most part, were like, oh, that's the national act to have like an AB5, right? And I'm like, okay, that's not knowledge of it. And then, so it was like very few people knew how close this was to just passing. And it's you know, I mean, this kind of stuff has to be stayed on top of these, you know, like how easily you can be deactivated for nothing or whatever their reason is, and they don't have to share it. I'm surprised that, and maybe this is just a DoorDash thing, that they're allowing them the appeal process. Usually that's not in their verbiage to say, like, well, if you don't like this decision, we'll relook at it.
Well, in any deactivation email always has an appeal link in it. All of them, every one of them, no matter what you did. It could be, you could go out and kill a customer and they're going to deactivate you, and they're going to be like, but if you don't think that our actions were correct, you can appeal.
I feel like some of the ones from Uber lately, I'm trying to think, because I get people who send me that kind of stuff, and I feel like some of the ones I've seen,
the one that got accused of smoking Mary Jane accused while driving, or before he or she picked up a passenger.
Yeah, right? I heard about that story. Uber rideshare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, rideshare professor was talking about that the smell, the customer said the car smelled like pot, and they deactivated the person.
Right.
That was a back and forth as well.
And the worst part about it is, even if you were honest there, what if you were honest? What if it was the passenger before? We've all had that happen. The clothing.
Absolutely.
Extremely strong stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these days there's such stuff that lingers that you'd have to take like over an hour off, go roll your windows down, open your car doors, spray it out.
There's good quality stuff too. Like, you know, it's going to smell.
Right. But if it's like prime time, like you don't want to go pack it up, and, you know, you just kind of want to be like, okay, well, hopefully people are just going to be okay with the fact that, you know, and maybe, I mean, me personally, all my years, I would have announced something like that. I would have said, sorry about this, guys. If you're not comfortable, I'm happy to cancel the ride. Yeah. But the guy before you just reeked.
I have a story to share about being wrongfully accused. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Okay. So in 2015, I picked up this couple, and they accused me of being under the influence, you know. And like 2 hours later, I got deactivated by Lyft.
2 hours?
2 hours later after that, right? It was with Lyft, I believe. And on the same day, right after I read the email, I went in and dropped a UA, you know, a piss test, you know, just to prove that I was sober. And the test came back negative, and Lyft did not accept that as evidence of being sober, you know.
Wow.
That's crazy, because I've heard a story where someone, I forgot, it was a couple of months ago, I don't know if it was Uber or Lyft, where someone was driving erratically.
Right.
And they didn't deactivate him in 2 hours, or the person. I totally forgot about the story. I wish I knew about it. But as soon as someone said that you were like, they say, okay, this person is drunk, they got you in 2 hours. It's no consistency with the way they handle these issues. You can't tell what's going to happen in one case after another.
But that was like a like one of the I've done enough rideshare for years. Like that was one of the 12-hour type deactivations, or 24 till it's reviewed, right? Or was that like a full?
I think it was within 2 hours after I dropped off that.
Right, but how long were you like deactivated, or were you deactivated for until it was reviewed? Okay,
deactivated.
Because I had a similar issue with, I can't remember if it was Uber or Lyft, to be honest, but it was like 2017. Where I got a call for a service dog call, which I don't mind. I'm a dog lover. Actually, I'm cool with that. I'm the guy that will kind of help out a little extra and stuff. But I got to the place, and when I got there, the destination was a vet, and these two dogs, like just awful, disgusting looking dogs were just fighting in this yard. And the guy had his shirt off and had a beer, and his girlfriend or wife or whatever, they were like at full blown screaming level in the front yard. The guy's got no shirt on, he's drinking, you know, and these two dogs are fighting. There's some foam flipping up, and I'm like, I literally was like, you guys, I said this was supposed to be a service dog call, and they're like, well, you're just taking us to the vet. And I was like, and so I was like, so I even got him to say it, and it was on my dash cam. I didn't turn the camera like I sometimes would, but I at least got him on the audio. I was like, so it's not a service dog. And they're like, no, but it's the only way to input. I was like, later. And I took off and I hit cancel. And then I called right away because those of us that have done rideshare, Dan and Gary, you'll understand, like sometimes, in a situation like that, you better get ahead of it, because
if not, you're going to be deactivated.
Yeah, I mean, like something's going to happen back.
They're going to come back and say, oh, he refused my service dog.
Right. So I called immediately and I said, hey, I said this, and this was it must have been Lyft, because this was at a time where I had a person on in 2 minutes. It was like call, I was like on, and with support, real support. And I was like, what's going on? That was a service dog call. I said, they were just going to the vet. They were fighting in their front yard, drinking, and I had to cancel the ride. And I actually pushed for which I never would call for a cancel fee, but since I had her, I was like pushing that too. I was like, so I want my cancel fee. It was only $5. I was like, I want that. And I kind of wanted that just because A, I had her on the phone, but also B, it just kind of makes a mark like this was sealed, done. We refunded him, in fact. So I was happy. I saw that come through, and like that all happened in about 20 minutes. All that transpired, but then about an hour later, I was on, and my app went off and said, "You've been deactivated." And I was like, "What?" And so pull over, check my email. Already had an email saying my review was under 72-hour review.
So it's more of a suspension.
Yeah, but it said they don't say suspension. It said you have been deactivated.
That's probably on purpose, right? Like they cover their tracks in case.
Yeah, verbiage in case it's a final. Yeah.
To be honest, I can't remember exactly how the email read, but obviously, like I could have flipped on I could have just, if it was Lyft, I could have just flipped on Uber and stayed out. But I was pretty upset because it was the very first time that I had a deactivation issue. Because I've only had one other one, and it was very short-lived too. But it
can be very upsetting, especially when you haven't done anything.
And I was kind of just like, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I'm like, I can't. What the heck, man? So I came home to reread the email. I emailed them. I called them, and I said, "What's up? You guys even gave me a refund because I called it in because I knew these people might be a problem." And she said, "Well, they told us a different story, and it has to be reviewed, but as of now you're deactivated." And I remember saying that, well, so when does it get reviewed? When am I back on the platform? She goes, right now you're not. So I guess I was deactivated. I don't know how they consider that, but it must have been like you're in purgatory deactivation.
Yeah. You turned you off. They took the switch and they
right. And they were like, you're already deactivated. Somebody's gonna look at it. You're probably gonna stay deactivated, just whatever. But I talked to the person and was trying to get any conversation I could in. And they said, well, somebody will review it and I'm gonna leave them my notes. Hopefully she did. But regardless, I had another call about 48 hours later, and they did end up bringing me back on, but they recorded my whole statement. Which I would have figured they did the first time too, but it was a manager or some other level that was like, hey, tell me again what happened here. And so I fully threw them to the dirt too. I was like, these dirt bags were drinking. It was like 3:30 on a Friday. Yeah, and they're full blown drunk, like fighting in a front yard in this weird, like, Van, Denver, how some parts are just
let Kim talk.
No, it just amazes me that these companies I understand customers come first, and, I come from an industry like that, but it just amazes me that, like, their first reaction is deactivation. Like, they don't even understand the situation before they just like, nope, deactivation. Like, you would think that they would investigate then deactivation. Nope, it's just straight deactivation. That's the part that actually amazes me.
Well, it's a security thing though, because I mean, like, if they say, "Oh, this driver's driving drunk," do you really want to wait till they investigate that before they stop somebody from picking up a passenger? Or
But
say
shouldn't it
it's
be
assault?
I would think it should be a suspension period though, because they don't
Right.
know the story yet. It should not be
Well, that's
deactivated. Is
what
a
they
strong
do.
word.
They
That's the
deactivate
same as
you.
fired.
Well, but they temporarily deactivate you, which is a suspension until they come up with a final resolution. It's just a matter of wording for legal purposes.
It just seems like that wording could really throw people off the wrong way, though. A lot of people who would see that and go, "Oh, I'm done," whatever, like, and maybe move along or what, I don't know. It's everything should be a suspension, it's you're not, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, right?
No,
And that's
you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
So those situations that like what you had to do with Steve, it sounds like they have to wait a while for them to get all the stories and then try to figure it out. And you got video and all that. But Van, your situation, have you filed your appeal yet?
I have, and actually, I got an email today from Doordash support, and it says I am deactivated, for good, yeah.
How can they able to investigate that in terms of what, like you described, there were obviously some nefarious people trying to mess with your old account, and
Right.
I'm assuming with these call centers and these guys, they probably got firewalls, and I don't know. Gary, you probably knows all about this. Ways where you can't track certain information, the way they grabbed it, how they even hacked into your account. So basically, a scammer got him deactivated, and that just seems like that's the way it is, and it don't seem like DoorDash has the capability or the interest to dive deeper to figure out exactly what happened. They just assume I'm sure you've been. How long have you been on the platform, Van, DoorDash?
With this current DoorDash account, I believe for like roughly 10 months.
10 months.
Okay, so I sorry to cut you off, Hannibal. I have a question. Why do you have two accounts?
My old Dasher account, I never taken an order, so I got deactivated.
Oh, for not using it or something. What's
right? Never went on a dash. Never taken a dash. Yeah.
Okay, so in DoorDash's in DoorDash's eyes, though, instead of creating a new account, you should have activated that account again, anyways. Because you can't have two accounts, period. Once you're approved for one account, you can only have that one account all the time. Even if like my current account, if I tell them to delete my account, if I say, hey, I'm not going to be a Dasher anymore, delete my account, and then a year from now I decide to Dash, I can't sign up and create a new account with my same social security number and phone number because they'll consider that's fraud. What I have to do is I have to email them, say, hey, I had you guys deactivate my account. I want to drive again. I need you to activate my account. Because if not, I'm going to run into the same issues that Van's running into is, well, now he's permanently off. The only thing he can do is basically force them into arbitration and make them give them a better reasoning besides fraud. Okay. Because fraud is such a broad term, and that's why they don't tell you down to the T exactly what you did. They just say, hey, look at this section of our TOS that has 10 things in it, and one of those 10 things you violated. When they should really just come out and say, hey, this is what you did, but their lawyers won't allow them.
Steve, I want to just ask you a quick question because you were talking about that earlier. Do you think these type of things are happening now to knock off as much dashes as possible because of saturation? Like, do you think that's a
I don't think his situation was, but it's a worry of mine that that is starting to at least come into their brains a bit. We have oversaturations worked for us forever. However, with some new laws in these states, we might want to try undersaturation.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, especially if some go to a point where you're getting all, like California, you're getting all these medical perks and stuff till the unions take them away that, and all like you're getting stipends, you're getting Prop 22, you're getting all this junk money, It's not. You got to take advantage of it while you can. Yeah, but it's not going to be there forever.
So Van, are you planning on forcing them into arbitration or anything to try and get your DoorDash account back?
Like, you mean like get a lawyer or?
Well, it's not a lawyer, because you probably didn't opt out of arbitration, so you can't sue DoorDash. But it's
I put him in touch with Bryant Greening,
Legal Rideshare.
Okay.
Yeah. I would definitely go that route. Try and force them into reactivating your account. If it's something that, especially as like if they did to me, I'm a full-time driver. If they did to me, I definitely need my account. Right. So that's something I would look into. They pay for all the arbitration costs. It's nothing out of your pocket.
Okay.
So,
right. And with Legal Rideshare, Brian's really good at
Right.
what his main thing is just like his letterhead usually can scare them back to a reactivation. Like where they're like, he's like, listen, my client, blah, and they don't even read it. They're like, what's his name? Just reactivate him. Just because they see that there's a lawyer involved, and they're like,
they'll go, oh, okay, it's two different accounts, same person. Let's just reactivate him.
Yeah,
but see, that brings up a whole nother question too. I mean, I don't know, Kim, have you ever heard? I think that's all of us, but Kim, have you ever heard of people doing a second account, like, or they get deactivated and they get a Google number, and then they set up a whole new account? Like, first of all, how does it get past them that he has two accounts?
It's a very good question. I think about this because I've heard other people on other channels talk about having two separate accounts, but I always think, don't you have to have your social security number attached to the account? So I don't know how the logistics work on that, just because I don't know. Maybe I'm just not savvy enough to.
Well, when you create an account, you use a phone number and email. You don't actually use your social.
But don't you go through a background check and you have to use your social security number
Through a third party, though. You give the third party your social security number, not DoorDash.
But you do put in things like address field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like Gary, you and I, and probably everybody here understands the database world. Why can't it connect and say, no, you're already...
Well, it can't block you by address, because what if there's multiple people in the same house that dash? You can't do it by that. The only thing you can do, the only unique identifier that we have is our social security numbers. So like on Uber, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having two Uber accounts, because the moment you try and put in your social, it says it's in use.
The Driven Dad.
The Driven Dad
has a second account.
He has two.
He has a Uber driving account and he has an Uber Eats account.
Well, but that's
we're both
at one
most
point,
people
though, they were
them.
At one point though, those two were two separate things. Because like you could sign up for Uber Eats if you didn't have a 4-door. Yeah.
He's a hacker over here.
Yeah. At one point, if you didn't have a 4-door vehicle, you would sign up for Uber Eats. But then once you got a 4-door, you would have to actually sign up for Uber Rideshare.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. Whenever I go back between Oklahoma and Florida, whenever I have them switch my markets, I have to specifically tell them, hey, switch my Rideshare and my Uber Eats.
This is a good point by Mac here. This is my buddy Mac. This is a good point.
Again, they still use third parties though.
But what about when they send out the 1099Ks and NECs?
That's through Stripe. That's not through DoorDash.
They have no database on linking us together, so anybody can
I would assume they would. Accounts? I would assume they would, but again, it comes down to maybe they don't want to store our social security numbers directly with them.
Liability.
Yeah, liability.
They would love to, actually.
Well, yeah. Like for instance, Uber, you don't get paid from Uber. Uber does not store your social security number. Razor LLC stores your social security number because of liability.
Right.
So maybe that's why DoorDash does it this way as well. They use Stripe and third-party background checker and things like that, so they're not liable for identity theft if it happens to you.
Mike, everything that we just talked about leads me to wonder why there already isn't regulation in every state with a company acting like this, a publicly traded company.
I
It's slowly
personally
happening.
think that and Gary, you might be able to answer this better than me, but I feel like there is like algorithms to these deactivations and also some of these contract violations. You do X, you automatically get a violation. You do Y, you automatically get deactivated. Like, I feel like there is impersonal stuff happening, that it's more an algorithm deactivating people than, in Van's case, it got flagged because there's 2 accounts automatic deactivation. Like, I feel like there's a lot of algorithm things happening, that it's an automatic thing opposed to really figuring out what actually happened.
Oh, that's how most of these gig companies operate. It's not one person sitting there reviewing it. It's an automatic thing. You get reported, whatever. It's an automatic thing, and then once you appeal, a human goes and looks at it. That's how it's supposed to be. With them denying Van his appeal, I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. They could clearly see that the other account was probably never used, never taken any single dash. It's never done anything, not been logged into. They can be like, oh, okay, it's a mistake. He created a new one because he didn't realize that he had this old one, or any logical person could do that.
Right.
But we don't know where DoorDash's deactivation team is. I mean, if they're the same people that's in the call center when you call to get help, we're all screwed.
So again, though, going back to it, what's to stop him from starting a 3rd account right now?
That's the thing. Talking about starting another account that didn't make any sense, or starting another account that I just feel like there's no consistency. Because I remember seeing a content creator that got deactivated from DoorDash, I think from a referral link thing or something like that.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to share it. You're not supposed to share your referral link except for friends and family.
Yeah. So she had it on her YouTube, and she had like one of her biggest videos, like 100,000 views or something like that. She tried to get back on DoorDash, couldn't at all. She even tried. I think even she have tried a different way. There was no way they were allowing that person to go back. So I was interested that people could have multiple accounts, but like other people can't. Maybe she didn't do it properly. Maybe she didn't have the right chain number. I don't know.
The simplest way is go get your EIN number from the federal government, file with that.
That's what
I just feel like there should be like no way for anybody who has an existing account to get another account. Like, I feel like there should be, I don't know, something out there that, I don't know. I don't know.
But
DoorDash is I feel like they just operate wacky to begin with. Just kind of like another layer of them acting even more wacky. I don't know.
But Gary was right. They're not an employer, so they don't really want to have his. They don't want your information. Like, hey, don't look over here.
But if that's the case, then you could have 10 DoorDash accounts.
I think
you can until you get caught.
Yeah, but I could just get a Google number. I could go get a new phone. There's so many options.
Now here's another thing Van could do. I see somebody else walking in through his house there. They could sign up for DoorDash. Then they could tell DoorDash, hey, I'm subleasing my account to Van. He's going to be one doing the deliveries. And according to the terms of service, as long as they give 7 days notice, Van can use their account.
Really?
Yep. There's in the terms of service, it says you are allowed to sublease your account as long as you give DoorDash 7 days notice and you have done the background check that is required through DoorDash.
I bet you there's a disclaimer that you can't do it to a deactivated driver.
It doesn't say that. It does not say that. I've read that TOS. That's a lot of times.
Yeah.
Props to Gary for reading it, because I haven't read.
I don't know.
I have not read it.
To me,
I'll probably use my wife's account if I can't get back with DoorDash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter that way either. But I guess my thing is like, what? It seems like the fault here is at Checker, in my opinion. And Gary, again, like you've got the tech savvy here, because here's what I'm thinking. Checker, like in the 2015-16 era, when it was just Rideshare, 2 companies running you, yeah, maybe okay that they'd notice or pick up, who knows. But now you're running a checker check for every app there is, and they're all using them. So your information is going through checker maybe 30 times a month, let's say, or whatever, 20 in a month, and then 5 the next. Why aren't they saying, okay, that's a checker check for DoorDash, and putting a marker on there until they need the next one in his name, in case another DoorDash checker comes through, so that they know, hey, here, we already did that one.
Well, because
my guess is it's they want the money, but
yeah,
I mean,
they want money.
but
And
they
not
could put a
that,
stop to that, right?
But a checker could, but at the same time, they're a third party. They don't care. Like you can sign up for checker yourself and pull backgrounds on all of us. As long as we give you our information, checker will allow you to pull a background.
Understood.
Now, they don't care if you pull Van's background 10 times because you just paid them $25 each time to pull it. And the only thing that they're giving you is whether or not he passes the background criteria or not.
I know. So, I would just think that that's a sign of even potential identity theft, fraud right there. I mean, like if they're seeing that Van's been checked on for DoorDash 10 times in a month, that's weird.
Well, but sometimes they do pull, like Uber has pulled mine 3 times in 1 month. And I was like, why are they pulling mine so much? And what it was is the first time, like I requested from Checker all 3 backgrounds that they pulled on me. And the first time that they pulled it, they pulled using an old driver's license. So it came back as suspended. Well, then, of course, once that happens, my app says, hey, your driver's license not valid. We need you to update your driver's license before you can drive, blah, blah, blah. So then I submitted my new driver's license and my new address. And they pulled all 3 backgrounds, and Checker gave them the information for the states that they wanted to pull. So like my driver's license from Florida, but currently I'm in Oklahoma. So when they pull Florida and Oklahoma at the same time to make sure I have no violations in either state.
I just can't believe we're talking about eVTOLs, like electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles that are going to be like the Jetsons and autonomous cars, but they don't have a way to.
And we can't
see if their computers are working correctly.
This guy has an account already.
And this is a tech company.
Yeah, a lot of tech. I don't know. I had a theory. Now this is a 10-fold hat theory, Van, but I'm going to say it.
Nice.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
Okay.
I do too.
So you have DoorDash delivery and your name on a lot of majority of platforms, right?
Right.
And you already know how TikTok feels when you funny, hilarious stuff, talking about people not tipping, no trip, I'm not getting your food, go, right. Take the bus, bozo, get the microwave. Do you think that DoorDash, someone was watching that, I was like, this guy's making us look bad. He's not, And
it's possible.
Maybe they're giving you this kind of crap, and I think by going through arbitration and really pushing it, they're gonna put you back on. But you think is that a possibility?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got Tony Shu's face on one of my YouTube thumbnail.
Well, I have that too. But I don't know, because TikTok is a big deal, and you've been getting a lot of really disgusting messages. I've seen some that you've posted, like really aggressive.
Absolutely.
I'm wondering if someone is like giving you a hard time because of that.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, or it could be with promoting Power App. Wow. That's another possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, why? But why would the Power App have to do with 2 accounts?
Well, not the accounts. I'm just saying, like, okay, they see this and then they're like, okay, what else, or what could we do to get him off? Okay, he had an account a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, again, really tinfoil hat stuff. We have no.
No, I was just I was asking Van because I was wondering, what could have tricked that. Just, I'm only asking because still to this day we don't know anybody that's been deactivated. But
right. Well, maybe I've been back mounting the non-tippers, or maybe.
But I remember you did do something for the para team recently.
Right. I promoted the Power App about a month ago. Yeah.
See, maybe that's what I'm remembering from your Tuesday live stream. Didn't you say something about maybe I'm totally wrong, but didn't you say something about a video? Like something about your YouTube channel, a video, something was like maybe in the email in your deactivation or something.
Oh, the DoorDash scam video.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was or what. I just thought you related it to one of your YouTube videos too, and I thought I found that interesting that they were like looking at that, like why are they watching his channel? You know, we joke about it, but
Oh, you DoorDash watch. Actually, all these gig companies watch every channel.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't think they do, you're crazy. Like I know YouTubers in the past that got deactivated for live streaming rides.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's possible.
And the only way you can know that,
There's
I
somebody
mean,
watching, yeah.
is to watch the stream. But for the second thing, like, the only person that can ever know who's doing that would be the employee of that company, because who's going to know who drops somebody off at 11101? I mean, come on. Even if we'd seen that on a curb or on a house, we'd be like, we have no clue where this is.
yeah.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's why anytime you live stream anything, even like people post screenshots, always tell them, make sure there's no customer information anywhere in there,
Right.
because that is a huge privacy concern for any gig company. Is if they know their customer information is being leaked, they're going to be very on top of that, because they don't want customers thinking that their platform can't be trusted.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Kim's been a huge advocate in the way that I always was too. Like I have my other gigs too, like Laser and other things. But like if you're just in the gig world, I mean, Kim's always like have all the apps booted up, have them already at your disposal. You know, like even the ones you're not using. I used to think way back, like onboard to one at a time and try and get a promo out of it or whatever. But I think there's more. Since a lot of times they're not even worth it these days, it's more just on board to everything.
Sign up to everything.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, sign up. I was talking to Gary, I think, before anybody else joined in, and DoorDash for me completely glitched and shut down tonight. So, multi-app, like don't skip a beat, and I hate to say, don't trust one company. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because
Absolutely.
stuff like this happens every single day to every single driver. And to me, you never know when it's going to happen. So I always say, be prepared for the worst. And you have all these apps to fall back on. I might not use every single one of them, but I know I have them in my arsenal in case I need them. Like, I have never done an Instacart, but doesn't mean that I don't have Instacart. I do. It's the last resort for me, but I know I at least have it in my arsenal and it's ready to go. So I say don't trust these apps, because you never know.
I'm the same way. I've never done Spark, but guess what? If I need to, I'll turn it on and go figure it out.
Oh, you need to do Spark.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm glad you said this, Mac, because this is we're still trying to get that back together, that curry one, but I'm glad that you're still having good luck with it. I turned Mac onto it a long time ago, you guys, and we pushed him right through on a waiting list. He's in Portland, Oregon, and he does well in curry too.
Nice.
Well, you seen the curry offer I sent you the other day.
I know, dude. Wow. I mean, like, I'd rather go Instacart shopping. Maybe not. But
bad offer.
Van, so I know you did, but you don't do rideshare anymore, huh?
Uber background check issue. Yeah.
And no Lyft.
Lyft. I didn't get approved when I was in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh.
I have a small crime from 2004. Yeah.
Oh, that prevented rideshare. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I think with this current situation, I think if you push a little bit more, they'll probably put you back on DoorDash, regardless of all the stuff. Especially if it's just a double account situation. I don't think it's. I think you're right. They want you to shut the people down and not really complain too much about it and move on to other drivers and stuff. But if you push back and say no, this is not right, like I said, they probably don't want to be bothered and like, okay, sure, let's just reactivate the person.
Okay.
How come Uber or I'm trying to figure this out. Sorry. How come
Uber or Grubhub never goes down like DoorDash?
They do.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. I mean, if any of the apps,
I've had Uber go down on me
the
a lot
most,
of times through the years, especially for rideshare. I've had issues. It usually gets fixed pretty quick, but I'm in a big enough city. It should never happen.
Well, now as of today, Uber actually has their own database centers to where DoorDash is still using AWS and things like that. You know, Uber actually built their own center, so they do everything in house. So that's why they don't have as many issues.
Bust that, bozo.
Sup, Arturo. But yeah, so okay, we talked a little bit about the independent contractor model. Is it going to hold? I think one of the bigger questions that I've seen is like an issue right now is where these companies are. I mean, you know, we've seen them decline, and Gary and I have talked endlessly about the fact we never think Uber will go under. It's too big to fail, kind of thing. It just is. You know, it's worldwide. It's even if it does more horrible than 5.9 billion in a lost quarter, but even if it continues that, it's built inroads with like cities and counties and states and countries, and it takes you to voting or to vaccinations or testing or this or that for free. So it has so many ends that, but I'm kind of feeling like, and I was thinking, we were talking that maybe Lyft will merge with something here, right? I'm feeling like, not just from the dip on Wednesday, but that Lyft might be nearing their end. Honestly.
Is there any like publications or any kind of articles that come out? Because
just
usually
the value of their company, how much they're down in rideshare. I was going through their Q1 report. It's just awful. I mean, it's not just the numbers. It's like awful across the board.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm wondering that because usually what happens is someone is going to sneak or leak information about the company if they think that, was it Grubhub? Like a lot of information is leaking about how everything's all messed up and how they, obviously they bought that, $7 billion company and realized it was a bad idea. I'm wondering if Lyft, it could happen in a few weeks where someone's going to leak something. It's going to be on one of these newspapers, Business Insider, whatever. Oh, they're doing something wrong, or they're looking to break off or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised at this point. And all the tech stocks are dropping. I mean, my portfolio has been taking a shellacking. I don't even want to look at my phone anymore. Crypto, that Ponzi scheme. I've wasted all my money on that.
Wait, did you have Luna? No,
I have Luna. I have Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're both getting destroyed. It's like, why did I put my money in this? But all the tech companies are getting destroyed.
Yeah. Everything's down across the board right now between stocks and crypto.
But here is a noticeable difference. Okay, both these SaaS companies or middlemen or whatever we want to call them, specifically Lyft and Uber, have sold off all their junk industries. They've gotten rid of the trash. They're not trying to fly cars into the ocean and kill sharks or whatever they do with scuba, and they've got rid of that. Scuba was a real thing, and that's gone. Come on. I mean, they're just done with the junk. They've raised the prices upward of 200 to 300% on passengers. There's been no driver pay increase. Lyft IPO. So wait, Uber IPO just under 50, right, Gary?
48.
So 48 they IPO'd on the Dow too. So they IPO'd and they're at about half their value. Now, Lyft IPO'd on the NASDAQ, which is more volatile for companies like this, and it IPO'd at like $78.
72 for Lyft,
Okay.
45 for Uber.
And now what's Lyft at today?
Lyft is at 19 and Uber's at 23.
So approximately maybe 25% of their value.
DoorDash is down to 69.
For Lyft, when I look at the lines and graphs, and I just don't see anything on any of the charts that shows me, well, at least they're doing this or this is happening, and they don't have an Uber Eats. They don't have
I personally think out of all of them, I think Grubhub is not going to make. Out of all of the apps that are out there, I think Grubhub is not going to make it. But just real quick, because it just actually came to me, and I actually have a question for Van. So Van, if you actually go back onto DoorDash, do you want to go back to DoorDash after all of this?
Absolutely, yeah. It's not the first time I've been deactivated, so
It won't be the last. It's not
Yeah.
the first.
Been deactivated from Lyft, from Uber, from DoorDash for the second time, and that's all I can think of. Yeah.
You know, that kind of speaks volumes too. I'm glad you said that. That like you, you've been deactivated a handful of times, and you've always been able to come back from it.
Yeah, I use a different phone number and email to re-sign up. You know, and,
that's what I was saying. Is like you could just do that forever, man. with the way we were just talking about Checker, you could.
Right.
But I guess my concern. So that was just speaking of Lyft, but now just in the general, and I know everything. I know cryptos. I saw Hannibal your picture of crypto going through the table.
Man,
the guy's looking at it going down underneath the table.
I'm still holding because I'm an idiot. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm down so much. I have to hold.
So I get that, but this all happening seems somewhat like a perfect storm. Or is it just me? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it seems like a perfect storm where it's like everything's down. There's not a real good sign about when it's going to come back up. It's not performing. They're not performing strong at all. None of them. I mean, some can say they're better than others, but none of them are doing well. Some are just like beyond failing. They're almost borderline a joke. And I mean, where does this keep going?
Well,
they've now raised the prices. They've tried 250%. They said that was the issue. They didn't raise the driver rate, but they raised 250% for airport.
They definitely did not raise the driver rate. I sent you that the other day.
Yeah,
I did 3 Lyft rides. I was like, hell no.
The only thing that they do are these crazy promos.
Yeah,
$38 to $4,200 to do 250 rides in 30 to 60 days, depending on the market. Those are just crazy because people do that. Like me as a veteran driver, if I see that, I do that, and then I don't do 251 rides. I do 250, and I'm done because I know I'm not making the guarantee.
Who do you?
I'm just doing it to do the. In fact, what would I do? I would probably get the Maximo app, set it for 1 mile, and go downtown.
Shorts.
Yeah, I'll go a mile to pick you up.
See, I was thinking about this the other day. There's nobody to buy Lyft except for Uber, and if Lyft goes under, Uber doesn't need to buy Lyft.
I don't know that Uber needs Lyft anyway because all that they have is a database.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like
the database of Lyft, I would think
Lyft.
like 90% of them are already on Ubers.
Right. And DoorDash already said that they don't want to be in people delivery. The interview, a couple weeks back, he said, delivering people is not our thing.
Right.
And so there's nobody to buy Lyft.
Well,
sorry, I'm laughing at the driven dad, Tony. He said Grubhub will buy them.
with what though?
Well, yeah, with what though? I mean, like
food stamps.
Grubhub has no money, and the thing is Lyft is valued at what, 24 billion is what their company is valued at.
Who comes up with these numbers?
I don't know.
Because these are based on a database.
Yeah.
It's not brick and mortar. They don't own the cars. This isn't. I mean, it's crazy. They don't own anything. That's why I was glad to see that Get Around story. I don't know if you saw that, Gary, but that was a bit. I was like actually a little impressed. I was a little hopeful that that in 2019, Get Around had 350 cities. They acquired Drivey in the UK for $300 million, and now. And so basically that was in December 2019, right before the pandemic. And now they're in 800 US and European cities.
Get Around. Interesting.
I'm not saying that they're the solution to all these problems, but they sure seem to be the only closest thing to being another rideshare company.
Well, I don't
competition
know.
is always a good
thing.
thing.
The bigger you go, the more money you lose. Like I always pictured a future to where every city is going to be like the taxis. They're all going to have their own app, and that's what people are going to use. Because eventually these big companies, they're going to be like, well, we can't afford this any longer. I mean, sure, you can do it for 10, 15, 20 years, but eventually every company goes under unless there's a government bailout. You know,
It's
I
so
mean,
sad. Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, I can't remember who it was, somebody on Twitter. I think it was even like, I'm not kidding. It was like Vina Dubal, somebody who I just occasionally have conversation with. And she's like, can you name me one good female, one not corrupt female CEO? And I was like, of course I can. I started sitting down, I'm like, I couldn't think of any CEOs that aren't corrupt. I was like, damn, like, oh, I don't know. But you know, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know if like Van and I live in the same market, and here in Denver, I don't know, Van, if your take is exactly the same as mine. This is a good city to live in for gig work.
yeah,
A lot of cities aren't.
Weed,
I love Denver. I love Denver. I love Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying like it's any of the apps, maybe not a couple, but you know, some people in a lot of markets are like, well, this app works, this doesn't, these are too oversat. Like, I feel like here you really can work a lot of them and stay busy. We have a good demographic. We have a good 25 to 35-year-old demographic here in Denver. And I think that really helps. And it's hard to get parking spaces if you live downtown now, and all that's kind of gone away. And I think people have, a lot of them have kind of ditched on the car a bit, and definitely want their food. I mean, one thing about Denver people is they've given up on going shopping or doing it for themselves. Some cities aren't quite that bad. Here it is. I mean, it's like everybody's like, well, somebody can bring it to me. Why would I go get it myself?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. When I hear about people doing a $50 dinner, you know, like, and they're broke, but you're getting, it's like going back to the luxury that this is all of these are luxuries conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course they are, because like if you get a meal for you and your two kids for $50 through Uber Eats, and that's the only $50 you had, why didn't you go to the store?
Well, it's, you know, fiscal responsibility that most of us don't have, like things we should.
That's pretty common caveman knowledge.
I mean, I'm a victim of it. I buy things sometimes I probably shouldn't.
But with your last $50?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like the
last $50,
like,
I'm buying a bunch of ramen noodles. A bunch of ramen noodles.
Right. A cup of soup. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, you got to go really look out, and that's got to be like to get you through till you figure it out. But you don't order Uber Eats and go, I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Some people do, Steve. I'm telling you.
That, I know. Actually, that is the point.
They go, they get their paid on Friday, and they go out to the club, and they go out to get drinks, and they're like, let future Hannibal worry about this. I'm going out. And then future Hannibal has to deal with it because he went to the club and spent all his money. So it's like people make these decisions all the time.
And they have to spend $200 on that new outfit to go to the club. So there goes their whole paycheck.
Yeah, and then come Monday, they're cuddling with people.
Listen, when I'm able to buy that Bentley for my cuddling money, Gary, you're going to be I'll be the one laughing.
You can point fingers at every single one of us, Hannibal.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Don't worry, I'll be here. I'll have my money.
Actually, if you have a Bentley, you won't be here.
Yeah, probably not. No.
So let's try this question. Van, we'll start with Van, but let's all do this. What's your favorite app right now? Not all time, but if you had to go work an app, and you could only work one this week. Because I know we all change with the
Uber Eats.
Is that because you're deactivated from Doordash though?
No.
You would choose it. Okay.
60% of my food delivery income comes from Uber Eats. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we doing me next?
Yeah.
Mine currently is Amazon. So Amazon Flex.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it could be because I'm updating Flex Alert and I'm doing more Amazon, but
right. Is it because that's good too now where you are in Oklahoma?
Well, yeah, I couldn't do it in Florida because the closest place was 70 miles away, and Oklahoma it's 10 miles away. So,
gotcha.
I've always preferred Amazon, Whole Foods, simple, quick, easy money.
And Hannibal is I'm sure Rover, but if
we were talking about food delivery or shopping,
no,
Doordash is still the most popular app in my area, where I know if I had one app to use for dinner shift, I know I would get majority of good orders, at least decent orders from DoorDash.
Kim.
It's gonna pain me to say this, but it's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
DoorDash. As much as I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they do, it's really it's booming in my area. I can still, if I shut off every other app besides DoorDash, I can still make my goal for my day. So it just so happens to be by multi-apping, I just make it quicker. So I'll go with DoorDash.
Well, they send you a lot of orders though, but they're not always the best orders.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
But they got what, 59% of the market in the country.
That's
So
about right.
you're gonna get a lot of orders from there.
But Kim, what would just take a guess, and I know you actually can do this because you do this every night. So if you were working 3 hours in the evening, same 3 hours, DoorDash one night, Uber Eats another, same volume type on both nights, how much off would you be on your Uber Eats earnings?
A lot. Uber Eats has almost been non-existent in my area. If it was a weekend day, I might have a hope and a prayer, but a weekday, no. It has deteriorated so much in my area that's why DoorDash has just dominated my area. And it used to be the other way around, like last summer, and maybe it's a summer thing because I'm by a beach town. Like I was rocking Uber. It was my favorite app, and it was like my bread and butter multi-apping, and completely flip-flopped with DoorDash. And I don't know what happened, but DoorDash is definitely the top right now. So that if I did one day with DoorDash and one day with Uber, they wouldn't be able to compare.
Wow. I know you don't need to share exact numbers, but like multiple dollars an hour off, over $10 an hour off.
Yeah.
Easy.
Like I would it's not that Uber's not sending good quality orders, which they do. Like sometimes my best stacked orders come from Uber, and that's a lot of times what I use Uber for. But I can go an hour, 2 hours without getting just even one order. And then all of a sudden I'll get like a really good Uber Eats order. So the volume with DoorDash that comes in, like I can probably get 10, 15 orders or offers, I should say, per hour. Granted, I can't do all of them, but at least get the offers to choose from. Uber, I don't even have that opportunity.
Yeah, I've been watching I watched the Driven Dad say Lyft. I'm watching all these different answers come in, and it's so funny because we all always talk about all these different markets and how much different they are. And here's the proof right here. Everybody's saying different things, man.
Absolutely.
And it's so true. It really is. It's the first question you need to talk about when you're talking with other people in other states. You need to be like, hey, where do you live? What's the size of the town? What kind of town is it? Is it college town? Is it retirement? What do you got going?
Exactly.
And what apps do you have available there? Because if you only have like 2 apps available.
Right. Well, I would imagine any town population 50,000, 60,000 plus would probably have most or all.
No, because like in Florida, I got Uber Eats, I got Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. Grubhub is, it's okay, but for the most part, that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
And just going back, Steve, I don't think I answered also your question probably the right way now that I'm thinking about it. If you're talking about like dollar per hour, probably DoorDash, I can still generate $25 to $30 an hour. Uber, I'll be lucky if I break like $15 an hour just based off of the orders that come in.
Yeah, that is what I was trying to ask you without asking what you no, I didn't want to ask. You answered it perfect the first time too, because I didn't want to ask you what you made an hour because it's,
Now, what about Spark or any of those? You can't do anything on that?
Spark is amazing. The payouts of Spark are amazing. The thing, at least in my area with Spark is only as good as your Walmart that you have in your area. I only have one Walmart, and my Walmart started the very first week I started on Spark, and I don't think they quite worked out their kinks and their staffing levels for the demand of what Spark is doing, but the money is absolutely crazy, especially on shop and delivers that actually just opened up in my area last week for my Walmart. And the other day I did what was it, $32, 30 something dollars to do one box of rice. Really? One box of rice. I shop for one box of rice.
So do you think eventually that will take over your main gig?
Yeah, and you know, I've been working differently. If I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I've been working differently. Like, and a lot of this is family based too, because my daughter started school. So drop the daughter off. I do a couple of Sparks. Then I go to food delivery for like the lunch rush, and then I'll do maybe one or two more Sparks before the evening shift like really kicks in, and then I go back to food delivery for like the dinner rush. So I feel like I'm working a little different to accommodate Spark, just because the payouts are ridiculous. And, you know, I know we don't talk money amounts, but I'm going to talk money amounts for like a half a second. I'm just going to give yesterday as an example. It was Wednesday. Wednesday is usually one of my slowest days of the week, and I'm usually struggling. I did $260 just yesterday alone on 8 hours. I'm sorry, no, 7 hours worth of work yesterday.
Nice.
So less hours, and I'm getting home quicker. I can be with my family. I'm getting my daughter to school. So to me, still making more money, but less hours and being home with the family. And to me, that's a win in my book.
Mhm.
How long have you been doing gig work, Kim?
I started part-time three years ago, Doordash. And then full-time, it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years now.
See, I've always said this, that once full time people do it, when you first start out, you're like balls to the wall. You work all kinds of crazy hours, but then you eventually, about 2 years in, you find that niche that gets you home in time. So you're like, oh, like a 9 to 5. You're like, boom, I'm out by 8 a.m. I'm back home by 4 p.m. Guess what? I spend the rest of the night with the family.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I hate to say it, it's almost by the book exactly. You know, I would work like, okay, I'm a go-getter to begin with, so like I'm just gonna go out, I'm just gonna work. And now every night, you know, I was working until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Now I'm home by like 8 o'clock almost every night now, and it's family time, it's TV. I actually know what a TV is at this point. Like I didn't even know what a TV was for like 2 years.
Yeah, Kim, I always say Kim's one of the hardest workers in this, because every day she's out there working, and then every day she's like editing, dropping a video. But then we got Van too. Look at Van. Like Van's like a flex. He's like live streaming on every platform at all times. Like literally, like I'll get onto, I think I've even seen you live streaming on TikTok,
Sometimes with
Instagram.
2 different platforms simultaneously.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you're doing Instagram, you're doing TikTok too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you live stream a lot. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put it on
I do.
YouTube.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know. It's kind of like you know, my subscriber keeping me company. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like,
No. I mean, yeah.
like,
I mean,
like dashing with all your friends. You know, but except they're not in the car with you. Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah. No. I
That's
mean,
what it feels like. Yeah.
you know, yeah. If
Makes
I'm
the
out
time
doing
go
stuff,
by.
I prefer these days to be in those streams, because you know sometimes sometimes I'm just like working at home on another gig for the laser company, and I've got like an iPad over here with Flex's channel going, because I like his lo-fi beats.
Right.
And so I'm over here working, and then I'll hear him swear or say something in Russian real loud. I'm like, what's going on over here? Like,
So I do that with Flex's channel too. I'll have it up on one screen, I'm programming on the other.
but I have to
And
not
then
watch
it
it. I have to
sits
have
on-
it behind me, kind of, until he does something, or I hear
I'm gonna-
another car crash into his or something.
I'm going to
Right.
say one more thing
up,
on
Alex?
Spark. I'm going to say one more thing on Spark, just real quick. I could probably do probably a $400 a day on Spark easily, but I'm so programmed not to rely on one app, just because of everything we've learned from the food delivery world. Like, and if that's the one thing I can like give advice on, and I usually don't give advice on anything, is diversify everything. Don't rely on that one app because you never know when it's not going to work anymore. And
Absolutely.
that's the whole thing about multi-apping. Don't rely on one app because they're not loyal to you. So, don't be loyal to the apps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go where the money is. Go where the money
Even beyond
Go
they're
where
not
the money
loyal
is.
to
Good
you,
point
they
there.
could deactivate you, and here's even the weirdest situation. They could deactivate you, and they meant to deactivate Hannibal.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that you'd do anything, Hannibal, but I'm just
Inactivity. That's about it.
I mean, but honestly, like that can happen, and then there's no resolution to it either. You're just deactivated. It's so weird. It's deactivated as an independent contractor, and just the two don't go together because it's actually a way of saying fired. You're fired.
Right.
That's why
but I don't
really
work
confusing.
here, man.
Yeah, it's a little like we're looking. All right, so when we are dealing with a situation, we're looking for like a manager or HR person to figure this out, because in a W-2 you have a problem with a customer or another coworker, you talk to a human being about it, or you go through a process where you talk to other human beings. But with these apps, the algorithm is trying to manage people, and they're not there yet. The technology, the algorithm is not perfect to believe one person or not, so they just go, it's ones and zeros, and then people get caught up with simple things like extra account or just flat out customers lying, and the algorithm is not smart to figure out who's telling the truth. They're like, well, just deactivate the person anyway. Like, I think you can't replace a human being is probably what I'm trying to say is.
Yeah, we're nowhere close to that. But Van, what are your backup apps? We know you do delivery, but do you have Ship? Do you have Curry? Do you have?
I do. Uber Eats, Grubhub, minus DoorDash, Amazon Flex, Spark, Instacart, Rodeo. There's one more. I have 8 apps.
Are you active on all, or are you ready? Are you like already onboarded, but you haven't worked them, or have you worked all of them?
I worked all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think 7 apps minus 8 apps minus DoorDash. Yeah.
But I know you're primarily food, but you still do work these other apps, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, again, I think that's the new answer. I used to say quite the opposite. Like, man, just find the one that's working for you and stick with it.
Mainly I do a lot of apps because it's for YouTube. I do it for the tube.
Yeah. Well, and that but that's kind of like the fire under your butt to get you motivated. Fine, right. I'll go do some Ship, and all of a sudden maybe you're kind of like, wow, I actually did well on Ship today. Maybe I'll try it tomorrow too. I think that's part of the cool things about live streaming. It kind of gets you to commit to an amount of time, like without being able to go, this sucks today. I'm gonna call it, But yeah, I mean, I don't know how all of us here tonight, I don't know how all of us find the time. We actually all have stories that I'm learning all of our backgrounds, and we all have like at least, Van, I don't know if you have kids, but all the rest of us do.
Okay. I have a furry daughter. I have a dog.
Okay.
Holly.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm turning 50 in 2 weeks, you guys.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm not really.
I feel like when I live stream, it kind of gets me away from all the other stuff that we do on a daily basis. So I feel like sometimes live streaming is like therapeutic.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It could be addictive.
Yeah. It might also help you control. I've never, I can't say because I've never done the vlog. I've never done a drive along or like taken a GoPro other than in the woods on my snowboard or backcountry and stuff like that. I've never taken a GoPro into a grocery store and done that. Like I would do my thing on YouTube and with the podcast, but I don't know. I would think that maybe it might help me kind of a little bit too. Like, okay, there's some people watching. I'm not gonna go all and Roy, I know you're watching or listening, but I'm not gonna go all old school Roy, like kick a can. and punch a car.
Don't do that. Yes, don't do that. Take a break.
You know, I've seen some like crazy live streamers too. Like, you know, like most of like I'll see Kim do her live stream. You know, it'll be just her cell phone. But like while I'm out working, I see these people that got these big old sticks and these big old cameras, not just a phone, but like a whole setup.
Production set.
Yeah, it's like, like that's a little crazy, just for food delivery.
It's a little
Like,
over the top, but
That's
I'm a
like
simple girl.
$2,000 setup. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve, you should try it. Do one ride along video.
is that what Hannibal's going to challenge you to one ride along video?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
I mean,
do
yeah.
I'll do one Instacart and I will see if I can get deactivated on the one trip.
Yeah, it'll just take one shop for you, probably.
You can
Yeah, I
come to me
I gotta save that too, because I've decided, Hannibal, we talked about this a while back. Van, maybe you'll have a view on this too, but all of us have our moral compass. You know, like it doesn't take me a day to think about things and go, well, I think I'm okay with that. Like, you just know, like, would I be
10
okay
seconds.
doing that? Using
10
para,
seconds.
things like that. But like, I was talking about starting a dumpling business, which I'm doing right now. And I said, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory against Instacart. I'm going to staple my card to every order until a customer calls it in. I'm just kidding. I mean, and we were talking about, you know, is that ethical? And I'm like, you know, I don't know, but my instincts are telling me it's okay.
What is Dumpling? It rings a bell, but
Dumpling is true independent contractor platform. You build your own clients, but you can do everything. It doesn't have to just be shopping. You could do delivery. You could do dog walking services like Hannibal does. You could do a lot of Dumpling customers. They actually build these businesses, and a lot do very, very well. I've met quite a lot of them, and they get the codes to people's houses, or people will say, hey, can you put the food in the after they get to know them, can you put the food in the fridge? Because I don't get home till 6. And they give them a key to the house. They're like, hey, when you're here, could you let the dog out? Hey, we're going to go out of town this weekend. Would you watch the dog? You're allowed to take on any services you want and use the Dumpling card and be on the platform with a profile.
Yeah, it's a personal assistant, basically.
okay.
I mean, you got to build it. You got to build it. But like everybody I know that did grocery were old Instacart shoppers that had it. And they've all done extremely well if they put in the time, because they just, you know, they were letting people know. And basically, like, I'll use Matt again as an example. Matt up in Chicago is like one of the top 5 dumpling shoppers. He started off by letting 2 of his family members know he was starting his own Instacart, as far as they knew. And you're allowed to make your own pricing model, how tips work. They have like classes that you can take just through the app, watching them, to learn how to try and price this stuff out. But his telling 2 of his family members has him to the point where he can't take on new clients now. He has enough where he's just crushing it.
Wow.
Well,
Because
what
because both those people said, wow, this is awesome. It's the same guy every time. He's coming in, he's putting the groceries away. I trust him.
That's the biggest word, trust.
Yeah.
You see
And
the
so all of a
same
sudden they're like,
person.
wait, I don't have to deal with Instacart anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, great, you know? And so they refer it to a friend. It's just, I mean, it's almost like word of mouth. You don't even need your advertising.
Right. Wasn't it Celeste? Wasn't that the one that hired somebody else too?
Yeah. I think she's working on her second now. She's like a business now, man.
Yeah, she's actually got employees.
Yeah. Which we were kind of laughing at when she was on, because it was like, wait, you've been fighting the independent contractor model. And she's like, I know, but I I do this city council thing, and they were telling me how I'm going to be better as an S corp. I was like, oh my God, what have you done? So, but she's shopping by the seashore, and she's by Kim. She's in Atlantic City. But she's like she's either their first or their second highest earner. She's a 6-figure earner, and she's got it down to like 40, 50 hours a week with set clients.
Like, yeah, especially if you are around like apartment complexes or really big buildings, and you could walk in, and maybe, I don't know if they allow you to put like advertisements around, but you can say, hey, listen, I'll shop for you guys. You guys don't have to worry about it. If you live in a building or not, or even near the building, they know you. There's, again, trust is the biggest part of this, where you get the same person taking care of you. You're not, gambling with a different Instacart shopper. Some are good, some are bad. So if you put the hustle to it, you could definitely build it. Like, it makes sense, because people will look at it and they don't, I don't think they have a lot of loyalty with the platforms, right? Like, if you order food, I have DoorDash, I have Grubhub, I have Uber. There's no loyalty necessarily unless you get a membership. But when it comes to taking care of certain things like your kid, your dog, shopping and stuff like that, you get someone you can trust. They'll pay, if they have the money, they'll pay and take care of you.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, like I think you could do great on a dumpling type model. And like you were just saying with loyalty, I mean, I actually think that, I'm just guessing from what I know from you, but that Rover, maybe you do have a little more loyalty, because you get paid better. It's like I am with Curry. It's like I wouldn't go out in a blaze of glory against them.
Yeah, the algorithm sends me good clients, or the clients look at my profile. So it does make sense, but I still get paid. I still have clients that pay me through Venmo or Cash App. So I should do the dumpling thing, because I walk dogs. I have keys to owners' houses right in my key ring. Like, I can, and so I go to different apartment buildings. If I did the shopping thing, I know I can do it. It's just I'm lazy about the shopping thing. But I can definitely go into an apartment complex and say, hey, listen, you see me every day. I'm walking dogs. You see me doing this. I'll shop for you. The grocery store down the stairs. I'll do this. I'll put it in your house. I'll put it in the fridge. I'll take all that. Just give me a fee. I know that's definitely something I can do if I put some effort into it.
Or even dog supplies, or like last minute food. I mean, you can use the dumpling card for that. So if you had a client that said, hey, we just ran out of food, is there any way you could go pick us up some? You're like, yeah,
definitely.
Because you're doing it through Dumpling, so you can, I don't know, Van, you might want to look into it. It's free.
Okay.
It's free to get it set up.
How much does the company charge? Is it kind of like Uber, but with personal assistance?
No, because they're not feeding you customers. They take, what is it, Gary? 10%.
What's their commission? How much?
It's really small.
No, it's very small.
What is it?
And you pay for credit card transactions, but like they don't set the prices for you.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, you set your own prices for each individual customer. So, if you go walk somebody's dog, you tell them one price, you go shopping, you tell them another price. I believe what Celeste does is like,
I think
10 or 20% of the total is what she does on shopping.
I think it's like $5 or 5% per shop. And then it's the credit card transaction too, which is like $3. Huh?
What are you talking about? It's $5.
No, like 5% of the order total is what Dumpling gets, plus the transaction.
Oh, you're talking about thing. I can look it up real quick though.
I mean, if not, I think it's like at most it's like 10. It's not much. And besides, yeah, you're setting the prices, but you can't set the prices on the items. So that is where that just plays in.
Okay, they get 3.9%. This is for the basic version, not pro. This is the $0 a month pricing. They take 3.9% of the credit card transaction plus 30 cents, and then they charge 5% fee for the platform access.
Right. So under 10%.
With a limit of $50.
So under 10%.
Yeah.
But the whole deal here is you have to build your clientele. That's the biggest thing. But again, man, I mean, like if you're somebody who can do Instacart, I mean, maybe not on Instacart, but you don't mind the shopping so much.
That's
I think there's a real
dumpling.
Yeah, but you want to get there's one called Dumpling Boss too. I think that's the one where you can shop from. Like
Here,
for a shop.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat so you can.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
Dumpling Grocery Boss. That's the one.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you sign up for that, and you can go and you can do any services you want. Like that's part of the test. I've had the CEO on the podcast a couple times, and so we went through it, and I was like, so I can do anything. We were trying to figure all this out, and I think Kim, you might have been on when we discussed this. He was just like the one thing's a no.
Yeah,
Everything else was fine.
What was the one thing again?
Just real quick, just because
Was
I'm
it-
reading.
Well, I don't remember if it was. I know it was sexual, but I think it was like you just can't be turning tricks. You know, like, damn, there goes my plan. You know,
completely off topic, but just because I was reading the chat a little bit, is everybody's complaining today that DoorDash has been like down a lot today. It completely crashed on me in the middle of a dash earlier, and I'm like, oh no, not another violation. But man, door trash.
For those that don't know, every Thursday is maintenance for DoorDash.
Yeah,
Every
multi-app.
Thursday.
That's the only thing I keep saying.
That's
Multi-app,
that's why we used to call it Friday crashes.
Yeah.
Because Thursday they did their maintenance and they used to always crash on Fridays.
see, but let's look at Mr. Flex too. Like, you know, I talk to Flex a lot. He is somebody who doesn't work other apps. He only works DoorDash, and they've been hit lately too. Like
No, he does payroll too, though.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm saying as far as the gig apps,
No.
he doesn't have a backup. He doesn't do Uber Eats or anything. He's just got DoorDash.
No, if DoorDash goes down, he goes home. Smokes a bowl and eats ice cream and talks to us.
He doesn't need to go home
Perfect
to do
world,
that.
man.
He does that while he's working, bro. What's up, Flex? I don't know what the mic and Nike sound.
He said
or
mic check.
mark is.
We was all
check.
talking about the big mics.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, like he only does DoorDash. I know that it's been very slow for him lately. It's not just down today. It's been, I know, like this week, and I want to say last week too, of talking to him. It's been very slow. I don't know. I mean, whenever I turn on the apps I use, I don't really see ever a difference. When people are saying some things are slow or whatever, it might just be again where Van and I are in Colorado, because it is a good market for this. You know, I would think that Hannibal's market, like he was saying with DoorDash, like, yeah, I would imagine that such an overpopulated area like where you live in such a small space that yes, it would be lit all the time. You know, there'd always be some work.
It did. I realized that things are going slow, but not necessarily for orders. It's just, I think it's just too many people outside. Where like Cinco de Mayo, I think it was like 9:00 at night. I couldn't log in because I don't schedule. I never schedule for DoorDash, and I couldn't dash now. And that was very interesting. That's something that never happened to me before. But I don't think it's a lack of orders. It's just so many people are there working. They don't need me unless I go to the hood to dash now, and I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to make any money.
Well, I thought you lived in the hood. That's what you told us.
Exactly. So I could dash near my house, but I want to go pick up McDonald's orders all day, and I don't want to do that. So it's not. I can't get in. So that's my answer. I can't get in.
That was shh.
I've been pretty open about that.
I mean, to be honest, like, you know, you go where the money is, and again, you're in such a small area. It doesn't take long to move to another one.
Yeah, it's like
20
minutes to go somewhere where it's actually worth doing it. So it's not that bad.
Sometimes those drives are really worth it, though. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Anybody realize tomorrow's Friday the 13th?
I just saw that in your chat. I'm like, oh, really?
Absolutely.
I'll be outside doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much all I got. And I mean, we've already ran over anyway by a good half hour. So I guess that Van, did you get in touch with the attorney that I sent you?
Oh, I haven't called him yet. Yeah.
You really should, man.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, he's not going to charge you anything. First of all, he's going to give you a free consultation, but if he'll just draft you the letterhead, I think that is it, man. It's like, I should just get him to give me a bunch of letterhead, and I'll just
change names.
I'll just sign them. I'll be like, you need to put him back on. Oh no, it's from a lawyer.
Did you send it through Instagram or?
No, I texted you when you were doing the live stream.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I did send it through Instagram too, but
I don't have this number on the text.
Yeah, I texted it to you.
Oh, through a group text, right?
Yeah, because I included him. That's Bryant Greening. He's the CEO and founder and lead attorney. Oh, okay, and he's a good friend of mine too. So it's we've got some history. So he's a good guy, and he's not going to charge anything. So talk to him. He
Okay.
might, and he can get you. If anything, he can help you get reactivated quicker, even if you're
Okay.
going to get reactivated anyway. So, but yeah, Van. Thank you for coming on, man. I've been checking out your lives lately and noticing how often you are live. I guess I didn't really notice how often you are live before, or else you've been doing it a lot more. I don't know. At
I
least
go
on
live a
at
lot.
least on YouTube,
Right.
I've been seeing you a lot more. Like even during the day, because you and I are in the same time zone. I'm used to all these people being out east or whatever, so they're
Yeah.
like 2 hours in front of us, and I'm like, oh, it's that time. But like even in the day and stuff, I've seen you doing live streams. So all of Van's information's in there. All of ours is in
Right.
there, I'm sure. If it's not, it will be as soon as this is done. I think it is.
And I posted a link to it just now as well.
Oh, I mean, in the show notes is everything. Is everything. But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. I didn't make it through the chat tonight. I'm sure Gary was keeping up. Maybe. There looks like there was a handful of people. It looks like there was Omer, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we have-
obviously some of these people are Van
Yeah.
in here for Van.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Good
is
luck,
cool.
man.
I always
Good luck getting
love
back
some
on DoorDash.
crossover. I love crossover when people get exposed to another channel, or like
Pretty
there's-
sure I'm gonna gain some of your subscribers to Rideshare Rodeo, Steve.
yeah. I mean, like
It's
I
always
don't-
good to collab, but I'm not good with interviewing people, so I haven't done a collab where I'm the interviewer. Well,
yeah. Well, I mean, I learned everything I know from Hannibal, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least you were one of the primary people on YouTube. I was already doing the podcast for a year and a half on audio, but yeah, I mean, when I started watching, I liked your style more than the collaboration you were doing at the time.
Gotcha.
The other collab, like when you had me on yours the first time, I noticed a big difference between the two. You see what I'm saying, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that was some code, but I think a lot of people probably caught it. So.
Yeah, Kim caught it too, probably.
I got it.
I don't know. I mean, it just, you just kind of showed me a different way of approaching it. And because it had video, that's an eye opener when you do an audio podcast and you move to video. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. This is different.
More depth there.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you, Van, for coming on.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out some way to hook up our dogs sometime. You live in Commerce City. I live in Quebec on the Park Hill side.
Near Stapleton.
Yeah, it's called Central Park now, but yeah.
This new app I did, rough.
I live near Hamden and Federal.
Okay. Oh, I know exactly where you are.
No.
Oh, I thought you were up in Commerce City.
No, South Denver. Yeah.
Okay, I know where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Littleton, right?
It's in like the triangle of Littleton, Beaumont, and Denver.
Yeah, I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, we'll have to find a way to get our dogs together, man. I go right past you, in fact, to one of my favorite trails.
Is your dog big?
It's a Border Collie Australian Shepherd mix, mediums, 50 pounds.
Okay. Well, we'll check it out. Holly has some dog-on-dog aggression. Yeah, some.
Yeah, my dog can like he kind of can dig that sometimes. He can jump. He's a herder. He's meant to herd animals. So
all right.
He'll jump over him and stuff. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Take him on a hike. You just tire him out. Even the crazy dogs sometimes they just chill because they're just hiking. So
yeah, we'll work it out. I have to know. Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us, and have a good week. And hey, if you haven't checked out the radio show yet, I keep forgetting to plug it. Please join us tomorrow night on tncradio.live at 7 to 9 Eastern. You can do the math on the rest because it's 5 to 7 here for me in Colorado. But it's a live call-in show. You can go to tncradio.live. We can bring you on. We can bring up to like 8 people on. It's a trucker radio station, but it's the only gig economy show. It's called Driver Nation. And me, Tom Kelly, and Jason Thierry have a good time on that one. So
Sorry, is that one on a podcast or whatever?
No,
Spotify?
that's like it's like live trucker radio out of Houston.
Okay.
So
But a
it's
lot
radio
of truckers
station.
part time in the gig economy. Like
So it's
interstate truckers who are gone for weeks on end.
Is it like on the radio? Like
Yeah,
the radio,
it's on the radio and
Okay.
on internet radio, and yeah, they've got
Gotcha.
shows going around. It's all country and news and trucker radio, except for this one show a week. We're the only show that's not trucker based.
Got it.
So it's pretty fun. It's the station manager sits in with me. Kim's been on it. Hannibal's been on it. Gary's been on. Actually, everybody here has been on it. You should come on it sometime. We have commercials, and in between, some weird stuff happens, and we have a good time. It's always fun. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, though, do come check it out and check out Van's channel and check out Kim's channel and check out Hannibal's channel, check out Gary's channel. You're on my channel, so
I was like, the only channel I'm on is yours.
all right, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.